What is psychic? How does it work? This is part 2. Be sure to go watch part 1 before this one, otherwise you're not going to know what's going on. So right before I finished, I was talking about how what we perceive is an illusion, produced by our brains, affected by our belief systems, our ideas, our past experiences, and of course sensory input from these very unreliable inputs of sight, smell, taste, etc. And so we can only perceive to the extent that we have ideas, concepts, and beliefs around those things. And when new ideas come in and we allow ourselves to shift or expand our point of view, new ways of seeing can be born. To a person from pre-Newtonian times, gravity did not exist. And a person pre-Galileo, the world was flat as a pancake. Yes, I know some people still believe that, all right. And guess what? To them, it is. It's flat as a pancake. And so to a person who is Christian, a spiritual experience will be attested to Jesus or the Holy Spirit. But to a Hare Krishna devotee, it will be Krishna. Now, is the energy really that different, and does it really matter how we label it? Or is it indeed the experience, the belief systems, the ideas, the points of views of the individual having the experience that gives it meaning and defines it? And is there ever a right or a wrong way to interpret these energies? Well, I think a more pertinent question is, does it feel good? Does it resonate? Is it empowering? Now, to take this a step further, if your belief system affects how you see the world, then your belief in or non-belief in psychics will influence your experience that you might have with psychics. And of course, if you don't believe in it, that's absolutely fine. There's more than enough space in this infinitely wide universe, continuously expanding, for all of us. And if you are indeed a skeptic, don't book a psychic reading. And stay within your own belief systems. But please, don't use science as the excuse. Your very lack of belief in psychic phenomena affects how you perceive, and this is scientifically validated. And anyway, how could a psychic possibly read your energy if it's closed off to them, and if you're not open to receiving the information? And of course, if you would like to get the most out of a session, open yourself up to the possibilities and place your trust in the synchronistic flow. This is when you will have an incredible experience. If you choose to do something, anything in life, approach it with openness and trust. And your experience will therefore mirror this at you. If you approach with skepticism and disdain, then you're sure to find the problems you're looking for. Even quantum physics, in my opinion, shows us this. Another quantum physics theory that baffles the logical mind is that of quantum entanglement. And this shows us that when two waves interact with each other, they become entangled. And then it doesn't matter how far apart they become. They will continue to exchange information faster than the speed of light. So basically, a particle acts like a wave. Waves of entanglement. And so, if waves have been connected once before, they continue to be connected and communicate with each other. Just a summary, no matter how far apart. The implications of this idea are simply phenomenal. And for me, it forms the basis of psychic phenomena and many spiritual concepts. So let's dig a little deeper. The Big Bang Theory states that at one time, all things in the universe were condensed into one tiny little space. And then we began expanding outwards, which of course began with that big sound, that bang vibration, right? And if we do accept this theory, and then link it to this concept of quantum entanglement, then it would seem a logical deduction to me that we were once all intimately connected, waves interfering with each other, and that we should therefore be able to exchange information with each other faster than the speed of light. i.e. telepathy. So in other words, Big Bang Theory plus quantum entanglement equals telepathy. It also suggests that we should all have access to these gifts. It's rather notable to just acknowledge that while many scientists really are baffled by quantum mechanics, quantum physics, and the theories, and they don't really make sense, the mathematics is sound, and that this is literally the basis of telecommunication devices, the phone you are holding. And despite the fact that the theory is confusing and doesn't seem to align with Newtonian physics, it is used to create our technologies. And so quantum entanglement also forms a mathematically sound basis for the idea of interconnectedness and oneness. And this idea, this ode to oneness, this interconnectedness, has been preached across all sacred traditions across the ages. And if what was once connected remains connected, and we were all condensed at one time, then we are all one thing experiencing itself within the illusion of our separation. It is certainly understandable why many scientists and logically minded people have an issue with quantum physics. Einstein himself called quantum entanglement spooky action at a distance. Despite not having a logical explanation, the mathematics underlying this is perfectly viable. This is literally how we have manipulated silicone, built computers, your cell phone, and all kinds of AI. And we're working with this spookiness every single day. So why would it be such a leap to imagine that we can access this without our phones? That the technology could be our brains, our minds, our bodies, our imaginations. All information exists here now. It is already a well-accepted term, even in science, that time and space does not exist in the way we experience it, that rather time is all now. And there is no reason why time should move forward in the way that we imagine it. Therefore, looking into the past and the future is all accessible here in this present moment, since scientifically it all exists right now. What was once connected remains connected or entangled and can therefore continue to exchange information. Therefore, right here, right now, this present moment is the access point to all information and all aspects of the universe. There are many different ways of seeing the world, and you can switch lenses multiple times a day. You can see the world as being made up of energy, information, spirit, matter, although of course the matter view is rather Newtonian, don't you think? And these are all different ways of seeing, framing the same thing. And while the framing might change, what we are looking at is essentially the same. So take the information paradigm perspective, for example. We know through scientific research that everything holds information. Take our DNA, for example. Every living cell holding so much information. Where we came from, our ancestry, our health, our current state of being. And this understanding can be enhanced even further if you tap into the idea and the concept of epigenetics, which states that we can change our DNA, and so we therefore hand down trauma or healing to our ancestors, or our ancestry, or our lineage, adding a whole nother layer to nature versus nurture. Is it so far-fetched to think that we could read the DNA intuitively? Through an energy perspective, we can believe in unseen forces. Gravity, magnetism, for example. Energy can always be felt. This is why we can tell if someone's just had an argument when we walk into the room. Or like wind, we can't see wind, but we can feel it. Or we can see the effects of wind. And even our thoughts exert real forces. This has been measured scientifically, and perhaps we can explain psychic phenomena as reading those thought forms. And of course we can look through the spiritual lens. I communicate with higher dimensional light beings. They're pure love. I ask them and they tell me. We could call them aliens or angels or gods. Is there really a difference, or are we just looking at the same thing? Words, darlings, are simply signposts pointing towards things we cannot fully explain. So perhaps you want to enter the void with me in the psychic development program.